Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the new episode of the Global Arena. Today I am discussing Saudi-Russia oil price clash. In the whole world, oil prices decline. Crude oil, which was $60 barrel some month ago, now reached to a historic decline to $20. Actually, three countries are fighting for oil: USA, Saudi and Russia. Like this clash not only affect them, but it will also affect on climate change and geopolitics. Now many of us think why exactly this happened, why this price war ongoing among these countries, how it will affect other countries like Pakistan, India, China, Japan. So all these queries will be addressed in this video. Now I'm starting the economics of oil. Like price commodity depends on demand and supply. If the demand of something is more while the supply is less, then its price will rise. The same is with oil. Now, if the demand of oil is less and supply is more, then its price will fall. Top three countries, Saudi Arabia, USA and Russia, they want to sell their oil to the possible profit. Now in market, the buyer would look for the cheapest option for buying oil. And when he finds the cheapest option, he will go with it. And this was the point where competition begins. Country deliberately keep the price of oil low so that they could make profit, and this will drag other profit downs. Now what to do in this situation? An alternate is that they altogether decide to control supply and decide the price collectively. So everyone can make respectable amount of profit and all would be benefited. Therefore, an alliance exists between some of the oil producing countries, which is called the OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. OPEC is basically the alliance of 14 countries, including Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Nigeria, UAE, Venezuela, Libya, Saudi Arabia, and rest. USA and Russia are not the part of OPEC. OPEC is basically a platform where these countries sit and decide the price of oil and how to control the supply, which prevents the fluctuations and ensure profit for everyone. And now I'm discussing OPEC plus Russia. In 2016, OPEC signed an agreement with non-OPEC countries. Actually, non-OPEC countries are those countries which produces oil, like OPEC countries. They would altogether increase oil production up to 1 million barrels per day to keep the market stable. So basically, an agreement was reached upon between 14 OPEC countries and 10 non-OPEC countries, including Mexico, Kazakhstan and Russia. These are oil producing countries but not the member of OPEC countries. So alliances between Russia and Saudi Arabia was made. This agreement was named as OPEC Plus, and together they became 24 countries and they control 55% of world's oil supply. Actually, OPEC Plus has tremendous capacity to exert a huge influence on the world's economy. USA was not the part of this alliance, which is OPEC Plus, but she was the competitor of this OPEC Plus countries. Now I am discussing the current scenario. With the severity of this virus, all institutions, academies, whether schools, colleges, universities are closed. Factories, industries are closed. All small and big manufacturing industries are closed. People are not coming out of their house because cities were put under lockdown, which is good thing and has been done for the safety of people. So keep in mind the usage of flight, shipping has declined, which reduces the usage of oil. The demand of oil has declined, for that the price of oil is reduced. Now both the demand of oil is reduced, the supply of oil is also reduced, so prices can be kept stable. Therefore, on 5th March 2020, OPEC convened a meeting in Vienna, which is the capital of Austria. Together they agreed that they would reduce the oil production by 1.5 million barrels per day so that the prices can be maintained and kept stable and oil producing countries can earn profit. Besides, OPEC also conveyed this message to non-OPEC countries, including Russia, that curtail their production so that everyone can earn profit. But Mr. Putin has something in his mind. Russia have different plans. Moscow refused to do so. In fact, Moscow enhanced their oil production. With this led to, as demand was already low, the supply rose even further, which crushed oil prices drastically globally. In the result, the alliances of Russia and OPEC came to an end. Now many of us think that why did Russia do so? Because if oil prices fall, then all the oil producing countries would bear the brunt, be it USA, Saudi or even Russia itself. So the reason behind this, that Russia wanted to attack the USA industry in form of oil prices, and Russia wants to destroy the oil industry of USA. Now in this part of video I am discussing USA Russia face off regarding to the oil conflict. They are historic rival. Both are the Cold War adversaries, but in the aspect of oil it began around in 2014. USA was once oil importing countries 20 to 30 years ago. She import oil from the oil importing countries. In the year of 2010 to 2014 there was a revolution in USA. Basically it was a revolution in oil industries which made USA an oil exporting countries. USA become an oil exporting countries. This revolution is known as shale energy revolution. In this revolution, they basically discovered a new way of oil drilling. It was the combination of hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling, which is called the shale oil. And due to this revolution, they discovered new way in which they extract more oil from existing oil fields in a more profitable way. This revolution made USA world's #1 oil producing country, left Saudi Arabia and Russia behind. Basically, USA snatched market share from Russia and Saudi Arabia. According to The Economist, the shale boom has made America the world's top oil producers. And in retaliation, OPEC countries decided to kill the market of USA and keep their market maintained. Now OPEC countries wants to have more and more profit. So in order to this, OPEC countries decided to increase their production, due to which oil prices would reduce globally. And with this move, it would no longer be profitable for USA to produce the shale energy, so they would stop producing the shale oil. Interestingly, the oil drilling is done by private companies in USA. Like if private companies go bankrupt, then USA would not come and intervene to save them. But in countries like Saudi Arabia and Russia, their oil companies are nationalized, so government could keep funding the companies to keep them running. Now globally everyone was facing losses, but the OPEC countries were hoping that USA companies would face losses and shut down. But this move was not so successful. Not all private oil producing company of USA shut down, only some of them did. But overall they sustained themselves from oil prices. Today Russia hoped that she could root out USA oil companies from competition and can capture its oil production. For that, Russia enhanced its production and deliberately reduced its prices. Now, if the prices remain low for a long time, the private companies of USA would not be able to make profit and can easily go bankrupt. Basically, this move is just because of Russia is frustrated with other several reasons due to the Crimea, Ukraine, and USA also imposed sanctions on Russia which affects their economy. So they bought that they would bear these losses for this time being, and they said that they are bearing this loss. This would shut down USA oil companies. When USA oil companies became shut down, then they would increase the oil prices and earn profit. And Russia feels that it might be able to do what OPEC fails to do. Now I am discussing aftermath of this decision. According to some experts, what Russia wants will happen to some extent. If low prices maintain for a period of time, the small oil drilling companies would bear a massive loss. Like in USA, not all oil drilling companies are big. There are some also small scale companies. Big oil companies like Exxon, Chevron, they will not go bankrupt because they have enough money, but small companies would definitely face losses. And USA now trying to give government assistance to the oil drilling companies in order to prevent them from becoming a bankrupt. Russia have enough money to bear this loss for now, but in a long term it would adversely affect Russia's economy, because Russia's economy is also depending on oil exports. Saudi Arabia has also enhanced its production. Why would it be left behind? It also wants to maintain its market share. To conclude this, maximum loss of this entire situation would have to be faced by the small oil producing companies. For example, Iran, Iraq, Brazil, Argentina, Ivory Coast, Malaysia, Indonesia, Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan. Because the oil prices shall remain low and they cannot sell out at a profit margin. And in this situation, oil importing countries will be benefited, like China, Japan, India and Pakistan. Today world is in transition phase. They are switching towards electric car industry. The oil price war is not good for the manufacturing of electric car because it will delay the process of manufacturing electric car as oil is available at low rates. And it could be possible that oil producing companies could bring change, that not to depend on oil and change to the renewable energy. Biggest example is USA might decide to turn to the renewable energy sector to create job instead of oil sectors. I hope this video would be informative for you. Kindly share this video and like this video. Thank you so much.